Good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday, January 7th, 2020, and I'm coming in from my spot where I always hang out, and I just want to share some random thoughts. And my thought topic today is financial independence. I had a light bulb moment today, and I really needed this light bulb moment. And I do want to share, number one, so I can come back and listen to it, but I could also keep it in my archives. And, anybody that I feel led to share this with, they can also share their thoughts and, interact with my thoughts, and we can just go from there. So I want to talk about financial independence. So when I looked up the dictionary for financial independence, it's the status of having enough income to pay one's living expenses for the rest of your life without having to be employed or dependent on others. Okay, income you earn without having to work a job is commonly referred to as passive income. So financial independence is having enough income to pay your rent, to pay your bills, whatever things, cable, or, to be able to pay for your livelihood until you die. That is financial independence. Financial independence is not having $1 million or $1 billion, because if financial independence was having a certain amount of money, there's people who have $1 million, but they're in debt $7 million. There's people who have $1 billion, but they're in debt $1 trillion. I mean, being financial independent means simply having enough income to pay your living expenses for the rest of your life. Your living expenses also include, in my opinion, your debt expenses. You don't leave that on to someone else or your children or things like that to take care of. Or you shouldn't. You should have some sort of life insurance or something like that in place. Now, this is not going to be your typical thoughts on what financial independence is. This is going to be like a groundbreaking truth for you. Okay? Financial independence is not something that happens overnight. Financial independence is something that you grow into. And guess what? Everybody grows into some form of financial independence in their life. Think about it. When you were 15 or 16 and you started your first job, and you started making your own money, are you at that same place that you were when you first started 18? You didn't have any benefits. You didn't have any insurance. You were probably on your parents' insurance. But now that you're 30 or 40 or 50 or whatever, now you have your own insurance. You have your own car. You have your payment. You have your mortgage. You have your, you know what I mean? And it wasn't something that happened. You didn't just wake up one morning and say, I'm financial independent. You might have had something in your mind that said, I want to be financial independent. And maybe some people work, some people don't. There are some people that don't. There are some people that focus so much on struggle, they never take a look and to see that they have grown into some form of financial independence. If you could not, if the very first car you had, you paid $1,000 for that car, and you had to keep getting that car fixed and all kind of changes, whatever, and now you have a better car, maybe you have a loan on that car, maybe you're making your payments every month, that is a form of financial independence. Are you seeing where I'm going? Are you seeing? I think we need to kind of just take, the pressure off of ourselves. Oh, I got to be financial independent. Guess what? You grew into it, just like you went from 18 to 20, from 20 to 25. It's that simple. It's that easy. It's that, as long as you keep living and you keep, keeping your eyes, you're growing as you are moving along in life. You're moving along in financial independence. And because this is something that you really strongly believe in, and you want to leave a legacy behind for your children, you want to have all your death benefits and things like that in place for them, and you want to leave something else behind for them, things are gradually coming in your path to set those things up in the right time. In the right time. You might have been somebody who always got their electricity cut off. Always, every month you're getting your electricity cut on, cut back off, cut on. If you are now at a place where you haven't had your electric cut off in like 10 years, 5 years, guess what? You grew into financial independency there. Whether it took 100 times or one time to get you to pay your light bill on time, once you're consistent, now you're taking care, now you're growing into financial independency. So that could very well look in a bunch of different varieties. That could be a bunch of different varieties. Not trying to, play down. I'm not trying to play down or take anything from anybody who wants a really, nice, lavish lifestyle. Because who doesn't? Who doesn't? But that's also to say that there's people who live in trailer parks, who have their house paid, their trailer paid off. They might have their cars paid off. They are paying their utilities, and they have a small retirement to where they could actually be okay for the rest of their life and have benefits to bury themselves. So let's not think that, if you don't have a business, God will bless whatever, whatever you allow God to bless in your life. God will, if you want to have $1 million, if you want to have apartment buildings and all these different things, and you want to have assets, and you want to have, well, God will definitely supply all of your needs and give you the desires of your hearts. He said He would. So give yourself some breathing room. Give yourself some break. Take a deep breath. Take all the pressure and all the weight of having to have all the answers right now. Because you don't have to have all the answers right now. He has the answers. God has the answers. So I just want to say that, be encouraged. He is the Lord our God who teaches us how to profit and lead us in the way that we should go. We can go to Him about anything. We can go to God about anything. Finances, your relationships, your education, travel plans. Go to God for everything. And He will show you. A lot of times we get so caught up in the world's definition of financial abundance, of financial independence. That's why when you understand that this is a process that we are moving in through time, okay? God is not in time. God is over time. But He's blessed us with time. Okay? So because He is over time and inside of us within time, all of these things are working as we're living. It's working as you're living. So that means that excuse me. That means that everything that you have asked God for, that you are believing God for, it is working right now in the now moment. Even if you can't see it. It's working in the now moment. So you already possess it. You already have it, because He says, I've blessed you with every spiritual gift in high places. So God has already given it to you, and He's already healed you. He's already blessed you with prosperity and abundance. However, every minute of your day, every minute of your life, you will see the unfolding of everything. You have to look back to see it, if that makes any sense, because yes, we look forward, yes, we look ahead, but when you get there, when you arrive there, you won't see it and say, hey, there it is, I'm going over there. You'll be there already, and you'll look back over your life, and you will see how in time, every minute, the workings of your life led you to this place. And man, I made it to financial freedom. And I'm telling you, you will get there probably a lot faster if you stop looking at where you want to be and look and thank God for where He brought you from. If you stay grateful for, man, I remember when I had to write checks out for everything because I could not pay my bills on time. I remember when, go back through your life, and especially if you've been working since you were a teenager. Man, I remember when I first got my job, all I wanted to do was buy clothes. Now I'm buying groceries and, car payments. I'm taking family trips. I'm going here, I'm going there. But man, I remember when I got my first check, all I wanted to do is I spent every dime on clothes. You'll have to look back to see it because it's already within the workings of your life. That tells me that if it's already in the workings of your life, then you can actually enjoy your life. Don't you think so? I mean, you grew into paying your bills on time. You grew into, and some of us are still growing into it. It's a work in process. You will grow into it. There will always be a day that you can afford it. I tell my kids that all the time. And when I started telling myself that, it would, I remember being married and like not being able to afford to have the tires changed. Like we wore our tires down to the wire. Okay? And it was like, oh, then now it's time to replace that tire. But that was like, because we got married young, our 20s, 30s, 20s, mainly 20s. But now that we're in our late 30s, we not only can afford to get tires for all 4 tires of our car, but we can afford to get winter tires for just the winter as well. And it wasn't until I was able to, to see that and look back and reflect and think, wow, I remember when we couldn't afford, we were going to $25 places and it was like, man, exchanging one bald tire for a not so bald, but pretty much you got a couple days, type of tire, $25 to get to and from work, to get to and from childcare, to get to and from, grocery store, everywhere else. If you were a person who were getting evicted all the time and you were being put out and you were moved around and you've been in place, and you have been in the same place longer than you ever have been, well, congratulate yourself. Now you can say that is financial independence having it's working in you. Now you have some stability. Where there was no stability, now there is. Okay? So we're not going to be hard on ourselves. 2020, I'm telling you, it will be the Lord's doing. It will be the Lord's doing. Be encouraged and remember, the Lord your God will teach you how to profit and guide you in the way that you should go. And He knows you. He knows how to get you to understand. Okay, sometimes we like God. He knows how to get you to understand. And He knows where you go, where you like to go, how you like to learn. Listen. This is a big almighty God that we have here as a Heavenly Father. So rest assured, He can get you there. He will get you there. Now what you need to do is go and relax and have a good life. Have a good life. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. These are just my thoughts. All right.